Talking about money and investment used to feel intimidating or dull, but the NOCE Personal Finance Festival has changed that, bringing together thousands each year to learn from industry experts and leading financial brands. We are here at the Marina Bay Sands Expo and Convention Center for the 2025 edition of Singapore's largest personal finance event. And joining me in today's discussion is Rohit and Ayush from the MoneyHero team. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having
Thanks
us.
for having us. Good to see you again.
I know with events, it always looks like it's easy to organize, but at this scale, 5,000 people, what does it actually take to organize such an event that, people don't realize?
This is the 6th edition of the Seedly Fest, and a festival of this magnitude, there is a lot of work that goes on in the background. This, for us, is the offline manifestation of our online community, where people love to come and hear some authentic, organic content around personal finance, and without feeling scared about talking about certain topics, which they otherwise don't get access to. Like you said, we have over 70 speakers, 35 financial brands who are collaborating and coming together to make this whole festival a big success.
So I think the other thing that was different this year is because we had originally planned to do this in May.
Yeah.
And then general elections happened and we had to change the date. So I think there was that change which we also had to accommodate, and we didn't want to rush by just changing the date. So which meant, we had to communicate back to all the people who had bought the tickets and, really thank them for their patience and understanding. Also all the partners and sponsors. That's when we also started having, conversations around how should we think about this event. The one learning I've had, because we are present in the other markets, but we've so far only done the Personal Finance Festival in Singapore.
Right.
And the reason is it is a playbook, and this playbook has taken a lot of time and effort from even teams in the past, the founders themselves, the vision that they had. And that playbook over time has gotten better and better. But you're right, it's not as simple as we can lift and port this playbook in another market. And kudos to the team that despite the fact that we had to change the date, they continued to put their heads down and make sure the event happened in October.
I just want to touch on that because for those of you who didn't know, the Seedly Personal Finance Festival is typically in May.
That's correct.
And unfortunately for this year, it coincided with the general election dates, which was
Absolutely.
obviously announced only after
2 weeks before, basically.
2 weeks before, right? And you guys have to make a last-minute decision.
Yes.
Was it
Yes.
even a possibility to hold it on the same day, or is just
No, I think, look, the general election
unrealistic.
it's a very important thing. So we were very clear. We had to, move the date. What we didn't want to do is just rush and move the date. So we also thought it was a good opportunity for us to really think about the event a bit more. Perhaps we can do something bigger because it also opens up an opportunity, reach out to more partners. So I think we looked at it as also as a positive development. And now, to your point, maybe the PFF will be in October.
I just want to ask you as well, you talk about other markets as well. So Seedly Personal Finance Festival has been super successful in Singapore over the last few years. What are the challenges that you think, or is this in the work where you could potentially bring the same atmosphere, the same playbook to maybe a developed place like Hong Kong, which you guys are in as well?
Absolutely. We're looking at all the markets now. So, Philippines, Taiwan, and Hong Kong, each of these markets could be a right next market. We are actively thinking about it. But you're right, there's a lot of work that needs to go into. We need to think about, are we going to host a very similar type of an event, the scale of the event, the venue. It may not be as easy for us to find venues at these, places. What time of the year is good to host these events. So I think either of these markets could be the right next market. When it's close to announcing, we will announce which is the next market. But the challenges will be the same. But like everything else, because we're going to be doing it for the very first time, we will have to start from scratch and learn. But hopefully some of the learnings the team have here, we can lift and port it there and diffuse it there and fast track the whole process of launching a new.
And I realized that every year you guys like to localize certain stuff. So I just behind me right now at the Tiger Booker booth, you have your Yakun or your Kaya Toast set as well. This strategy of localizing content, right? Whether it's in terms of the exhibition booth or the speakers and the talk, how valuable is it, or like how has it been in terms of finding topics year in, year out, in terms of and trying to localize it.
So it's constantly on our radar to have topics and discussion mood points, which is relatable to the general public, right? Currently, the macro situation, US is seeing an all-time high and whatnot, but people want to talk about matters that really make a difference to them. So they want to know, as Singaporeans, as people living in Singapore, what's the best way for them to grow their money? What matters to us may not matter globally. So we try to keep localizing it as much as possible, just to make it more organic, more authentic, so that people are actually interested to come to the event and engage with the speakers, engage with all the different booths, and go back happy. Go back with something that they can actually practice.
So I can see the Longbridge booth from where I'm sitting. And Longbridge is, it's not a new company, but it's new to Singapore's brokerage scene. And how's it like, in terms of interacting with some of these new brands who are new to Singapore, and they obviously want to be part of the Sydney Festival, to reach out to some of the participants and the early adopters?
I think we have to still appreciate is we're only in the 6th edition, right? So we're still young as a festival, but you're right that the festival has got very good visibility. A lot of people, when I talk about the Personal Finance Festival, they've either attended it or they ask, oh, when is the festival? And that includes our partners. So I think the festival has got good visibility, has got a good track record now, which is why we also get a lot of inbound in terms of new partners coming in and wanting to participate.
The fest is an offline manifestation of our online community, right? And to Rohit's point, this festival is a recognized brand in itself, which all our different partners, banks, insurance companies recognize and want to collaborate on. This is their way of actually getting out to the public and actually getting a immediate sense of what the public is seeing, what they're perceiving their brand as, and how can they go out and do more if they need to do more.
The Personal Finance Festival is a brand in itself.
Yes.
Which is why, it's Seedly and SingSaver together. And then we have all partners like yourself part of it. Yes, we are behind it as sort of the leading brands in terms of anchoring it. But I would like to see the Personal Finance Festival evolve in itself as a brand.
The Sydney Personal Finance Festival really has been the marquee event, I would say, the flagship event in Singapore when it comes to finance. Because before that, I don't remember ever, being able to convince, a few thousand people to wake up on a Saturday morning for a finance event. Because, I know people who get up really early for car expo or like food festival, but not finance festival, right? What is it that has been done that makes the topic of finance so relatable to the average person, such that, I see long queues, I see people queuing up to, enter a auditorium just to hear about finance-related topics? Pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
I think finance is a very personal topic, right? And this is, I guess, one place where people can come hear different speakers talk about the topic and see how can they also, take that back and actually put that into learning, into their own livelihood. For instance, I had a session earlier about financial independence and how can people thrive in this economy where, prices are rising. And there were a lot of relatable anecdotes that my jury, those guys shared. And that's what this is all about. As people come here to learn, to see, how do they grow their money? That's what they want to do. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a reflection also on the fact that, people really have a desire to learn, right? And, it's fascinating. You're right. People are coming on a Saturday. They're carving out their time over the weekend, sometimes with their kids and their families. And the simple reason is people want to learn. People want practical strategies, tools. They want to hear it from experts, people who actually live and breathe these topics. They want personal stories. So this is less about a top-down saying, this is what you should do, but this is what I'm doing and working for me. And I think those practical strategies are what people really relate to. And yes, it's fascinating that on a Saturday morning, even at 8:30, there's a queue for people to come in, and we're very thankful for that because it's investment of time, especially in a weekend. We all want weekends to rest and spend time with our families, so we really appreciate that.
I just want to ask, I'm not sure if this is overly too sensitive, but what are some stuff on your wish list that you wish next year's edition would have that you really want to work towards, or any plans on this?
I know we do this event once a year, and there's a lot of effort that goes into it. But I feel that perhaps there's an opportunity for us to do it more frequently, even if not such a big scale. Perhaps we can be more thematic. And this could be the nice final build-up event when you bring all the topics together. Now that it's also towards the end of the year, maybe that gives us an opportunity to think about doing micro events and more frequently. We've spoken about it. I think we will be able to do it because it's great to have people come once a year this way, but this is a community. This is not a one-off thing that we do. So throughout the year, I think a lot of things also change. I mean, especially in today's day and era, every week, every month, there's so much volatility around us. I feel that is an opportunity in itself, and hopefully next year, we'll be able to do a lot more of these sort of events.
We don't have to do this once a year. And generally, because of the amount of inbound requests that we get, it actually makes sense to start looking at more micro events through the year and then having this as one final hurrah for that year.
And with that, thank you, Rohit. Thank you, Ayush, so much for sharing your thoughts on organizing the Sydney Personal Finance Festival.
And thank you for your support. I mean, you guys have been a great, supporter of this event, contributor to this event. And I'm really looking forward also for both our brands to do a lot more work together. And I'm sure some of the things that we've been speaking about will come into play very soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for all your help this year. And we hope to, continue building on this as we move forward into 2026 and so on.
I'm really looking forward to next year as well. And for those of you, if you're listening or watching this either on YouTube or on Spotify, don't forget to follow us or leave us with your thoughts if you have any comments or that you want to share with us. And if you like our content, don't forget to subscribe and follow us on the Dollars and Sense Podcast. We will see you again.